It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Today, two outstanding teams here to play our game. Let's meet them right now. From Indian Queen Elementary, please say hello to Diamond Voodoo, Nyla McLean, and Jennifer Flores Pena. And from Scotchtown Hills Elementary, we welcome Felix Amon, Hayden McWilliams, and Katie Tavidi. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out with 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into these two rounds today, we will have a winner to move on to the quarterfinals. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly. Two good-looking teams today. Let's go to the red team. Nyla, try your buzzer for me. All right, good luck to you, to Jennifer, and to Diamond. Everything seems to be A-OK. And how about the green team? Hayden, try yours. Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Felix, and to Katie. Are we ready? Let's do this. Let's have a great time. We're proud of all of you. We go alphabetically, I before S, so Indian Queen Nyla, let's play the bowl. Give me a category and a number, please.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams in the Ice Age movie, that little squirrely thing Scrat is always chasing what fruit of the oak tree? Scotchtown Hills.
Acorn?
Acorn. He never seems to be able to get that acorn. It's almost like the Roadrunner and the Coyote, ever elusive. All right, Green, you're on the board. Go, Hayden.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, despite calls for prizes in this field to include public health and ecology, the number of these most prestigious science prizes in the world will probably stay at just 6. What are the names of those prizes, Scotchtown Hills?
Nobel Prizes?
Nobel Prizes, that's right. Medicine and physiology, physics, chemistry, economics. They want to add to that list, but most likely that will not happen. 70 to 50. Green advantage. Hayden.
Dateline Science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, you might have heard this. They've discovered a skeleton of a human-like person 4.4 million years old. Nyla.
Lulu?
Not Lulu, no. Actually, there was a skeleton by the name of Lucy, who was 3 million years old. This one, named Artie, is 4.4 million years old. Scientists now think it is the missing what between ancient humans and modern humans? The missing what? Scotchtown Hills.
Link?
Link, that's right, the missing link. All right, the oldest skeleton of a human being ever found. All right, let's turn out the green light over there, and we'll go to the next question. Hayden, you'll choose it.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, in the Star Wars movie, the little robot was called R2-D2. Today, it has nothing to do with robots, but we call the swine flu what? Scotchtown Hills?
H1N1.
H1N1, that's it. Okay, good. Green.
Dateline Science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, Great Britain has recently released 10 stamps honoring the 200th anniversary of the birth of what famous scientist that we associate with evolution? All right, no takers. That would be Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the survival of the fittest. All right, try again. Green.
I would like Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, although the artists will sometimes use metals like cobalt to make blue and mercury to make red, when they make these designs on human skin, the amounts that they use are not dangerous. Nyla.
Ink.
More information?
Tattoos.
Tattoos, that's right. They're making these tattoos, and even though the ink contains some dangerous metals, the amounts are so minuscule that we don't think they pose a risk to the person's health. All right, red, good, go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, there's a new movie out about liars starring Ricky Gervais, and he's depicted in the advertisements for the movie with one of these very long ones, just like Pinocchio. Indian Queen.
Nose.
Nose. He's got a real long nose because, you know, if you tell a lie, it just keeps getting bigger. Go red.
Zoo parade for 10, please.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, listen carefully. This famous kind of mammal, which is the symbol of the World Wildlife Fund, has teeth like it's a carnivore, but it only eats plants. What mammal is that, Scotchtown Hills?
The panda.
The panda, that's right. Carnivorous dentition and a vegetarian diet. Thank you, Katie, for your assist on that. Go green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Dr. Seuss's character Sam I Am would probably not like the bird called the emu because it lays what kind of eggs? Scotchtown Hills?
Green eggs.
Green eggs, that's right. Green eggs and ham. I think not, but he came around, didn't he? Go green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, General Motors, the car maker, has just stopped making a whole line of cars named for what outermost planet, an outer planet in the solar system? Indian Queen?
Pluto.
Not Pluto. No, what line of cars did General Motors stop making? It's a line of cars named for an outer planet in the solar system, Scotchtown Hills.
Saturn?
Saturn, that's right. You cannot buy any new Saturns after a certain date because they are no longer being made. All right. A consequence of the budget cutbacks. Our buzzer has rung. That means we've come to the end of the first round. Good game. Indian Queen 70. Scotchtown Hills 110. More Science Bowl straight ahead. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We're early on in our competition this year, our 24th on Channel 96 and 38. We're so glad to have you with us. Let's find out about the 6 young, outstanding scholars playing our game today. First at Indian Queen Elementary. Indian Queen down in the southern part of the county. Nyla, nice to have you guys with us today. Now tell me a little about your school. Who's your principal?
Miss Fingers.
Miss Fingers. She's out there rooting for you, I know. And you have 2 sponsors, do you not? Who are they?
Miss Monkey and Miss Bahari.
Yes, and we'll bring them out a little bit later so you have a chance to meet them as well as any alternates on your team. Who are your alternates?
Alitza and Matthias.
Good, and we'll have them come out too. Now yours is a uniform school, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And Nyla, what do you like best about Indian Queen? If you had to pick one thing, what's the best thing about your school?
I like band.
The band. Do you play an instrument in the band yourself then?
Yes.
What do you play?
The flute.
The flute. And I know you aspire to be a ballerina. You take ballet lessons now. You're a good captain. You keep up your good work. Jennifer, nice to have you here. You aspire, as does Diamond, to be a doctor, right?
Yes.
How'd you get interested in medicine?
My uncle, he's a doctor.
A good role model for you. What do you do in your spare time?
I play soccer and basketball.
Right, so you're a scholar athlete. And Diamond, too, you also play basketball, don't you? And you want to be a doctor as well. What got you interested?
Well, really, I thought that, because I like working with things like, I don't know, like maybe surgery or something like that.
Right, you certainly need a steady hand to do that, and you seem to have a nice cool demeanor over there, so that would serve you well. Let's go over to the Scotchtown Hills team and find out about this team up there in the Laurel area. Hayden, tell us about your school. Who's your principal?
Our principal is Miss Prevost.
Yes, and the sponsor or sponsors of your team?
Our sponsors are Miss Doris and Miss Harvey.
Yes, and I know they're very excited and they've been working with you to get you ready for today because Laurel is home to the reigning Science Bowl champ from Montpelier Elementary, and I know, in Laurel there's a particular interest in Science Bowl, and we wish you a lot of luck this year. Hayden, any alternates on your team?
Yes, James.
All right, we'll meet James in a little bit. Tell us about yourself. You like to bodyboard. Where do you do that?
In Fenwick Island, Delaware, where we have a house.
Wow. So you get to spend a fair amount of the summer down there, at least a couple weeks, I hope? Yeah, it's a great place. What do you want to do when you get older?
I want to be a stockbroker.
Yeah. How'd you get interested in that?
I really like the stock market. It is very interesting.
Yeah, that's the American way, isn't it? Capitalism and making money. So that's the heart of it all, and I wish you luck. You're a good competitor. Katie, nice to have you here. Tell me about yourself. You'd said earlier that you wanted to be a scientist. So what do you like about science?
I like that science can be just a bunch of questions.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of questions out there, aren't there? You know, and if you get into the science fair, you know, you have to come up with a hypothesis, you know, you have to address a question, and there's a lot to be discovered out there. And it's nice to have you here. You're a good player. Felix, nice to have you here. What brings you to Science Bowl? How'd you get interested in our game?
I actually have seen a couple Science Bowl matches, and I got interested from watching them.
That's good.
So here I am.
Here you are, and we're glad you're here. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, you told me you have 2 cats and a dog at home. What are their names?
Alex, Whiskers, and Lucky.
And Lucky. All right. Well, they're obviously in good hands, and keep playing the good game you are. Let's get back to our game. Scotchtown Hills has 110, Indian Queen 70. Lots of points to give away. Last correct answer came from the green team. So, Hayden, would you start us out?
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, there was a Disney dog in a recent movie named for a flash of lightning. What was his name, Scotchtown Hills?
Bolt.
Bolt. A bolt of lightning. That's right. Good. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, if you're a SpongeBob SquarePants fan, you know that he takes a butterfly net, but he's not trying to catch butterflies. He's going after these, yes, Indian Queen.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish, these stinging cylindrids that sting with their tentacles. That's right. Good. Red. Next, Nyla.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, it's been discovered that the giant planets Uranus and Neptune have some very hot areas where these most precious of stones and girls' best friends are developing. Scotchtown Hills?
Diamonds.
Diamonds, that's right. Diamonds are way out there. Chances are we're not going to be able to get them. Go, green.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, these blood vessels, if they are 4 to 5 times above normal size, are known as varicose whats? Indian Queen.
Veins.
Veins, that's right. Thank you, Diamond. Our aspiring doctor over there knew that one. Good. Red.
Let's get physical 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, recently President Obama invited young people like yourself to the White House lawn to look up at the sky through telescopes. It was the 400th anniversary of Galileo looking through a telescope and discovering what giant planet out there, Scotchtown Hills?
Saturn.
Not Saturn, good try. Galileo looked through a telescope 400 years ago and he spied what giant planet, Nyla?
Neptune.
Jupiter. Jupiter, the biggest of them all. Try again, Red.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if you have conjunctivitis, they won't let you go to school because you're contagious. Conjunctivitis is an eye disease that has a simpler name. Indian Queen?
Pink eye.
Pink eye, that's right. I was going to say it was a colored name, and you got it. Good. Red. 100 to 125. Advantage red now.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, some plant breeders, in order to prevent sterile pollen from developing in these kinds of food plants, they remove the tassels from the top of them. What kind of plant am I talking about, Indian Queen?
The carrot.
Not the carrot, good try. They remove the tassels from the top of what food plant in order to prevent sterile pollen from developing? Yes, oh, no, you can only get one chance. Green. Anybody over there? This is corn. Corn. You know the tassel, the thing you got to pull off when you shuck the corn? All right, try again, Red. You're still 25 behind, but you have the advantage. Nyla?
Zoo Parade 15.
Zoo Parade 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Some people get sores on their legs called ulcers. In order to treat them properly, doctors apply maggots. Maggots are actually what metamorphic stage in the life of the green bottle fly? A maggot is another name for what metamorphic stage, Nyla?
The larva.
Yes, the larval stage. Good answer, young lady. Good. Go.
Green things 15.
Green things 15 points. Teams, Luther Burbank was a famous botanist who bred and developed all kinds of different plants. One of his most famous was a spineless version of this prickly plant. Indian Queen.
The cactus?
Cactus. He developed a spineless cactus, which then cattle could eat and not get jabbed. So it was a wonderful development. All right. 130 to 125. You have a 5-point lead now, Red. Go Indian Queen.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 25 points. Or excuse me, did you say 20?
Yes.
20 points. This is a multiple choice question. Listen carefully. Sometimes if you're laughing and talking and eating at the same time, food can go down the wrong pipe into your lung. Indian Queen.
Hiccups?
Not hiccups. Good try. Scotchtown Hills, listen for the whole question. I said it was multiple choice. If you're laughing and coughing and eating at the same time, sometimes food can go down the wrong pipe into your lungs. That's because which of the following body parts doesn't close properly over the top of the lungs? Is it the epididymis, the epidermis, or the epiglottis?
The epiglottis?
It is indeed the epiglottis. Good answer there. All right, epidermis is the skin, and epididymis is part of the reproductive system. All right, you now are back in the lead. Let's see if you can keep it. Hayden, choose.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, it was back in July 1996 that one of the most famous animals of all time was born because she was cloned. Who was she? For 25 points. Indian Queen.
A monkey?
Not a monkey. Good try. It was in July 1996 that one of the most famous mammals ever born was born. She was very famous because she was cloned. Who was she? Answer, please. Dolly the sheep. The hello Dolly. Dolly, the first sheep, the first major mammal ever to be cloned. Go green.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, when someone is suffering from a contagious disease and they want to keep that disease away from everybody else, what is the procedure called where they isolate that person from everybody else? All right, Scotchtown Hills.
Quarantine?
You got that right, young man. Good. Go. Green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, the words insomnia and narcolepsy are the extremes of what procedure that we all do every day? Indian Queen.
Eat?
Not eat. Scotchtown Hills, narcolepsy and insomnia are the opposite extremes of what daily procedure we all do.
Sleep.
Sleep, that's right. Narcolepsy is if you just fall asleep in the middle of anything, and insomnia is if you can't sleep. Green.
Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points, teams. In order to keep sliced apples from turning brown, a squirt of lemon... Indian Queen. What do you think, ladies? Jump in a little too soon there, I think. Scotchtown Hills. Keep sliced apples from turning brown. A squirt of lemon juice will do the trick because lemon juice is another name for ascorbic what?
Acid?
Acid, that's right. That acid keeps that oxidation, that rusting, if you will, from occurring. All right, we have 140 points left. Our score right now, Indian Queen 130, 210 for Scotchtown Hills. You know what you have to do, ladies. Pick one. Hayden.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please, for this question, if you would. Recently, they found this creature frozen in the ice in Siberia. This is an extinct animal. Scotchtown Hills.
Mammoth?
It is indeed a mammoth. I was going to say related to modern-day elephants. All right, nicely done. Green.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, your question is as follows. These tubular invertebrates can be variously described as glow, earth, and silk. Scotchtown Hills.
Worms.
Worms, that's right. Silkworms, glowworms, earthworms. You got it. Next.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20. Look at your monitor again, please. Teams. Recently on the eastern shore of Maryland, they found types of orchids, which are flowers growing that they had never seen before. The orchid on the far left was bred with the orchid in the center to produce an entirely different kind of orchid on the far right. That orchid on the far right, then, is what kind of H-initialed kind of plant? It is a hybrid, When you put two different things together and get a completely different one, it is a hybrid. 3 questions left. Scotchtown Hills, please.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points, teams. Von Helmont was a famous botanist who grew a tree in a pot filled with soil. He came back 5 years later and the tree weighed 165 pounds. The soil was the same amount. All of the difference in the weight came from what food-making process that took place in that plant? Indian Queen.
Photosynthesis?
Yes, ma'am. Photosynthesis. Go, Nyla.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points, teams. The famed chemist Louis Pasteur died as a result of a very common occurrence that happens to a lot of people when the blood supply to the brain is impaired. He suffered as a result of that impairment a what? Indian Queen.
Stroke?
A stroke, that's right. One question left. Let's get physical for 25. This is it. Teams, if you're using a graduated cylinder in the chemistry lab, the units along the side are cc's for cubic centimeters, or they're listed as mLs. Can you tell me? Indian Queen. Milliliters is absolutely right. And with that, we come to the end of the game. A valiant try, but it looks like Scotchtown Hills has done it. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back. We hope you enjoyed this game at home as much as we did here in the studio. 6 evenly matched young people. That score went back and forth, and rarely do we use up all the questions. We did today. That's a tribute to their skill. We're proud of each and every one of them. Our final tally today is Indian Queen 205, Scotchtown Hills 255. Congratulations to the green team. Felix and Hayden and Katie, nicely done. James Johnson back there. Let's see a smile. Your team won. He's looking so grim up there. And thanks also to our sponsors, Miss Doris and Miss Harvey. Did a great job preparing your team, as did Miss Monk. You guys did beautifully. You came back at the end there, Diamond and Nyla and Jennifer. You have a lot to be proud of. Matthias, good to have you here, young man. Cordell Brown, Cornell or Cordell? Cordell Brown, nice to have you with us. Miss Monk, always a joy to have Indian Queen here. Thanks for being part of our game. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye now.